The Berserker Brawl Finals are here. Rhito versus Koga. Those are our finalists, people. And this is the predictions for who is going to win this fight. And man, I would be lying if I said Rhito isn't the favored one here. He is in much better condition. He seems to have reached a level of mastery that I don't think Koga is there yet, which we'll get to later on. And man, I just don't see Koga winning considering how much damage he's taken. But let's basically go over Rhito for a bit and the damage he's taken, right? He's taken a few shots from Swapang. And yes, Swapang knows how to lay someone out, right? Knock him out. You can ask Cosmo. You can ask Cosmo how it's like getting knocked out by a Swapang. He knows how to do it, right? And basically, his hand is basically scuffed. So you have, I'm assuming his left hand isn't working properly anymore. He probably can't do Razor's Edge with that hand. He's also taking a few shots, but again, he's relatively fine in comparison to Koga. Koga has busted both of his hands, and even while they were busted, he used Armored Kata again against Rhito. So Koga is in trouble. Sorry, Koga's in deep shit basically, and it's gonna take a very huge mastery of basically foresight and kung fu or martial arts prowess basically for Koga to actually pull ahead. He basically has to outskill Rhito, because Rhito, he's in a much better physical condition, but I don't even think that's possible, right? Because if we look at Cosmo's power, he's around, of course, Cosmo, Swapang, and Adam Dudley. Basically, in the Berserker Brawl fighters, I would say he's around that tier. Maybe you could argue he's above it by like one tier, but I would gauge him around that, right? He did have a high diff fight against Swapang, or you could say mid-high diff. Either way, he has basically lost an essential tool for his combat power. So yeah, it's a high diff, right? And Swapang basically high diff Cosmo. And this is where I get into Adam Dudley. Adam Dudley is actually nasty for how he was bullying Ryuki like that. Because with how Ryuki fights against Koga, right? Adam Dudley was 100% stronger than Koga. 100%. If we were to swap Ryuki for Adam Dudley, my bets would have been Adam Dudley would have probably won that fight simply based on his performance against someone who is relative to Koga's strength, Ryuki, and just completely he threw Ryuki in the mud. He really did. So we have basically characters that I think are in this tier, and Koga, there are a few ways in which he could win, right? Because it's gonna come down to a technique thing, because you can't overpower Rhito. That's just not gonna work. He isn't in the condition to do it, right? So there is that one thing Oma was kind of learning, where you kind of, I don't know, mind control someone to basically make them think there's an opening and kind of control their actions, and kind of like, it's anti-foresight basically. So Oma did learn that, and it would kind of bring it full circle, because there has to be a reason why it was introduced in this arc in particular. Because we did, like earlier on, before the knockout rounds for the Berserker Brawl started, Oma did teach Koga about hiding your intent, when you hitting someone, right? This is basically what allowed Oma to edge out Lo Long. There was that leg sweep he did. Basically, the technique he used there with the leg sweep was kind of hiding his intent. So Koga might have that in the bag, because we don't know if Rhito can even counter something that, I mean, if Lo Long had a problem, I'm just saying, right? If Lo Long had a problem, I don't think Rhito's gonna, nah. It would be nice, but nah, not at all. So we do have that, but we do have what Oma learned again. So Oma's probably gonna teach Koga, because Koga, it's master and student at this point, right? Like, we all know it. Koga's basically picking up everything from everyone, which actually goes into the next part, where Rhito in the last match reached what is known as Rai. So you do have like Shu Ha Ri, which is basically the stages of learning, and then you implement and all this stuff. And this actually might be what gives Koga the edge, because let's be honest, right? Rito's talented, but nowhere near as talented as Koga. Like, nah, he beat Zai Ji. Koga beat Zai Ji. And Zai Ji was comparable to, at least in talent, right? He was above even the leader of the Worms. So there's like Koga, he's a different type of animal when it comes to a talent. And I do have suspicions that Koga is still on the Ha phase, where he's incorporating techniques to develop the arts, further. That was discussed in Rito's fight against Swabang. So he's there, right? He could manage to get Ri or Rai. I don't know how you say it. And that could be the game changer for Koga. If Koga's able to win in his condition against someone like Rhito, oh boy, he's top tier no matter what. Like, I'm just saying. But that is one way in which Koga can actually, win against Rhito, given that it's such an unlikely event, right? Rhito, again, he's in a much better condition. He's probably at a higher level of mastery of martial arts. Koga might edge him out in techniques, right? He knows the Nico style and a lot of other style, foresight. He might know how to hide intent. He might even know how to trick someone into thinking their intent is actually their own. He might have all of that, right? But is that even enough to edge out Rhito? Because Rito's going to catch on, right? Rhito, he adapts to a situation, right? Like, not like, of course, Kano or Lo Long. He's not like that level. But he isn't an idiot either. So, really, I'm guessing Rhito wins. Unless, like, this Koga just goes through, like, basically a bloom. Like, where Ryuki had his bloom moment, Koga has his bloom moment. It's just like, we're done. And he is basically the most, we already know he's the most talented character in the series, but all his work over the years just pays off much quicker than Rito's. And a lot of people are probably going to be mad, but that's how I see it happening if Koga even wins. That's how I envision it happening. But again, what do you think? Do you think Rhito just, he goes in there, he bullies him, and then he just puts him out of his misery? Maybe Koga just gives up. He's like, I can't do it. maybe he gets subbed in. That is a possibility of just someone else, but then they would probably have to like by default let him through because there was that case earlier in the Berserk Brawl. So that's probably not gonna happen, right? Do you think Koga's gonna get the W and just somehow just pull off what is probably the most unlikely W ever? Is it? No, it's not. No, it's not. But what do you think? Down in the comments below. Yeah, I'm done now. That's my prediction.